there are a number of different functions within Excel that will help you analyze your data. So if you go over to the Formulas tab, here is, a bunch of different functions that they've got kind of grouped for you. So, some of the math and trigonometry functions, statistical functions are hiding over here under more functions. There's logical, there's, a bunch of different kinds. And the general format is you hit the equal sign, you type the function name in all caps, and then you feed it whatever arguments it's expecting. So let's say that, again, working with this, we wanted to see what the average enrollment was for each major. And so we would make a new column, we'll call it average, and that function is thankfully logically named VERAGE, if I can spell, average. And you can see that it has, it gives these suggestions. It's like, hey, I noticed that you're typing a function. Here are some that look like what you're typing. And so this says, it returns the average, the arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays, or references that contain numbers. We can also go and kind of click over here, and it'll say what it's expecting the arguments to be. So, here what we'll do is then we'll do an open parentheses, and we can see now it's saying, hey, I'm expecting a number. And so I could, individually type in all of these numbers, close the parentheses, and get my average. But that's a little annoying. So what you can do instead is have your open parentheses, select your data like this, and notice how it's kind of a color and it's got this moving dashed line. It's letting you know that I'm putting a range in here. And then you would close your parentheses and hit enter, and you get the number that way. The nice thing about doing it like this, choosing a range, is you can now autofill. So remember back the other video where we talked about autofill, you can just take this and drag it down, and it has filled in the formula for us for all of these different rows. We didn't have to type in each time. So that's kind of useful. Another thing that we can do, once we have our function up here, if we're like, well, I kind of forget what exactly I'm supposed to be typing in, and I don't want to have to go find it, or like the description that it gave me didn't quite make sense. You can come over here to this little f of x, function of x symbol, and if you click that, there we go. It says, here are the function arguments. The function is average, it's expecting some numbers, we gave it a range, that's fine, and it says what the arguments are. It can evidently only do 255 numeric arguments, and that's what that is. And as an example of something else that we might do, another function that we'll discuss later is the average if. And again, if we look here at the function arguments, we need a range, and we would also need a criteria. So these are two things that we must have in order to run the function. Otherwise, it will throw an error. It'll say, hey, we're expecting more information. Where is it? And so it lets you know. but we're not quite there yet, so we'll just leave it as average.